Hi and welcome back. I'm Jody.
And I'm Richard Bandler.
And welcome to day 6 of our 30-day Mind Works Challenge. Today we're talking about releasing emotions. And lucky us, we've got Richard Bandler with us. So Richard, tell us more.
I have trouble stop grinning. I feel so clever. I was listening to Behavior Generator.
Right.
Now I am a superhero.
Just like that.
And today we are going to be talking about emotion.
Releasing it.
Now, if you are human,
Check.
you probably know what it's like to feel emotions.
Anger, sadness, frustration, etc.
And if you are an adult human,
Check.
you probably are aware of how important it is to put on a positive face when you're out in the environment, and to be strong when you're out in the environment, and sort of be that brick wall that others can lean on. Which is great. Fabulous. Now, the thing is, you can't stop things like anger happening, sadness happening, frustration happening, whether it be in your job or relationship, little things. And if you try to stop them, they just sort of build up and build up and build up until one day you just have a meltdown.
Been there.
Yeah, well, if you have a meltdown, congratulations.
Thank you.
Because a meltdown's great. It's like, at least you get to feel something. That's better than being numb, I would say.
Perhaps.
And there's these techniques that they use to help stop negative thinking. And I'll tell you right now, some of them. One is that you probably heard of the rubber band. You put a rubber band on your wrist, you snap it when you have a negative thought, so you can learn to think positive. The other one is to visualize a stop sign in your head.
Right.
So when you have a negative thought, you put up the stop sign. Jody Lee used this one.
I did. When I was trying to monitor my thoughts, trying to be more positive years ago, I thought that was a great technique. I would visualize the stop sign when a negative thought came, and then I would try and turn it into something positive. But knowing what I know now, it's true that it kind of just leads to denial, and then eventually I just explode.
Right, because that's exactly what happens. So how do you stop a thought and then say, oh no, I'm positive?
Right.
You instantly just became fake. Now that next thought's going to come in, you're going to say I'm positive, and pretty soon, just what she said, you're in a state of denial. Next thing that's going to happen, you're in a state of self-pity. Oh, feel sorry for me, my life is so bad. Hey, I've been there too. It's not a big deal. At least you're feeling something. The next thing that happens, you start blaming others and the situation. So many things happen. Devin's such a fabulous person. And pretty soon you're angry, and you just become angry, and you start blowing up for no reason. And then finally you accept it, and then all of a sudden you're just positive again.
Right.
So what Jody Lee's going to teach us today is she's going to teach us how we can have a turnaround quickly, how to recognize our emotion, allow ourselves to deal with it right away. She's going to teach us how to meta ourselves.
Yes. So important. As you feel that emotion, you'll be able to get through it that much faster, and it's that much more enjoyable than just bottling it up and waiting for it all to explode randomly on you. And it's true to self-esteem as well. People with high self-esteem, they believe in themselves, they have self-esteem whether they're happy, but also whether they're angry or sad or any other emotions they're going through. They have self-esteem enough to know that, hey, this is okay, this is what I'm feeling right now, and this is who I am. I'm going through these emotions. That's self-esteem. Not just, I have good self-esteem when I'm happy. That's easy.
Right, yeah, it's like I had a manager once and we were knocking doors.
Right.
And he sat me down because I was having a bad day. And he said to me, he's like, it doesn't matter I don't care really how great you're doing when everything's going great, when you're making tons of sales and everybody's buying, you're doing really well. He said, I never learned that everybody's the same when they're up.
True.
He said, I don't learn about someone until you fall down. And then you see how they get back up again.
Right.
And that's exactly what we're talking about today.
Exactly. So, what you need to do is get out your notepads, whether that be a pen and paper, or your BlackBerry, or your iPad, or your iPhone, or your Android, whatever it may be. We've got the technology these days, so it doesn't matter where you are when you do this, when you're feeling anger or sadness, you have no excuse. We're going to answer 3 questions. So you can write them down in there now so you can continue to answer them throughout your day. So the first question is, what specifically is making me feel this way? What specifically is creating this blank, this emotion, in other words? What specifically is creating this anger, this sadness, whatever it may be? So that's the what. The second question, I saw that. I can see my reflection in the camera, the little brat. Hold on, I need my pen. I need my pen. Let me get through this.
Okay, next question.
Number 2, how specifically does this affect me? And this is internally or externally. So are there internal factors going on, like if I'm angry or sad, is it causing me to emotionally eat and basically cause harm to myself? Is it external factors, maybe perhaps it's somebody else that you feel is doing it, or the environment that you can't handle, whatever it may be. It's how specifically.
Yeah, external factor too could be like when you talk to other people.
Right.
How is it affecting me?
Right.
If you just start snapping back at people, you might regret what you say afterwards.
Oh yeah, I've done that.
Yeah.
So, definitely, that's a good one. And the third one is who. Who specifically is causing this anger or this sadness or whatever emotion it is. And that can be yourself as much as it can be someone else. And for this purpose of this exercise, I know eventually the goal is to take responsibility for yourself and your emotions and everything, but during this exercise, just feel it. I don't care. If you feel like someone is the person to blame, write that down. Just write it down. Get it out, because we're supposed to be feeling it here. So really just write it down. It's his fault. It's all his fault. Wah, wah. Good. Feel it. And then what I want you to do is notice how you feel after you answer those 3 questions. Sometimes right away I'll look at it and I say, oh, I feel embarrassed. I feel silly about it. But sometimes I get more angry. And whatever it is that you're feeling, you're going to want to go through those questions again with that new emotion that you're feeling. Okay, so what, how, who, what, how, who. Continue to do this until you start to feel better, and you will feel better. And the more you do this, the easier it gets, and the easier it gets, the more you do this. You'll enjoy it quite nicely.
Exactly. That was poetic.
Thank you.
And after all of that, when you get through all of that, and which is great to do, it's valuable.
Feels good. It does. It does. Even at the time, that's why I said, let yourself feel it. Really write and be honest with yourself. It's just between you and the privacy of your own mind.
And that's what we're doing here. We're creating that. And after you get through that, Joy Lee now has a really great affirmation.
Yes, one thing I like to just add to things at the end, the little icing on the cake, is I like to say an affirmation such as, I am now willing to release the part of me that created this anger, this sadness, this, you know the feeling you're going through, you can just leave it blank. So I am now willing to release the part of me that created this. And just notice what that stirs up inside you. If it irritates you or gets you angry, great. Work with it, recognize it, thank it for making its presence known. And just know that the more you do this and the more you practice, the better you will feel. Because I am a living example of someone who used to bottle up all their emotions. That wasn't too long ago. And since I've been going through this process of really letting out my emotions, I feel so much better. And I've actually noticed a fast turnover rate.
Wow.
Well, I used to be angry for days sometimes about certain things. Because I'd hold it in, I wouldn't let it go, so I wouldn't really know what was bothering me, so other things would bother me too, eventually.
Which happens all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas now,
you're not alone.
when I deal with it,
I've done that too.
I feel better.
We're together, let's try this out.
Let's get down, partner. Okay.
I'm just kidding, I'm way above all this garbage.
Sure.
Grrr.
So that's basically it. Yeah, you feel so much better. Now I actually notice that I go through my emotions within a span of a few hours.
Exactly.
And I'm going to get it down to less than a few hours. Watch me now.
Even better than that, Yeah, exactly what she said. You're at your job, somebody makes you angry, deal with it.
Right. And it's almost like it's conditioned if you think about it. Because kids, when they bang themselves on something like a chair or something like that, what's the first thing they do? They just scream at the top of their lungs for like a minute or two, and then that's it. They're done. But think about an adult bangs into the same chair. He's like holding it in, clenching your jaw, just like not letting it go, you know, just like not letting it out. So it's so important to just let it out. Just let it out and then be done with it.
Yeah, and if you let it out when it happens, all of a sudden you stop taking your job home with you, you
Right.
stop taking your relationship to your job.
Yeah.
All of these things, you'll find that they just stop happening and you will be able to be positive. A real positive, like a real positive, something that people will look up to.
Right, and this is all in the frame of safety as well. You want to do this in a way too that so you're able to deal with your emotions so that when you do release these emotions and feel these emotions, you're not harming yourself, like punching a wall and hurting your head, or harming
Or
someone
whatever.
else, you know, because you're so angry.
Yeah,
Things
true.
like that. So
I
it's
guess
kind of
that's a good
getting
point.
your emotions under wraps in that sense.
True. Yeah. Who wants to punch walls? I have delicate fingers. Look at them, they're beautiful. Like a male model. I should be a hand model.
Oh dear.
I'm looking for a job as a hand model, please. Have a look, have a look.
Don't zoom in.
Alright, so,
Just kidding.
all that
I'm
being
just kidding.
said,
I'm
we're,
jealous.
we're cutting this off.
Yes.
You can go out and discover yourself a little bit more using
Just
the
remember-
meta model.
The what, how, and the who.
And also remember that you are fabulous.
Thank you. So are you.
Ciao.